Open your refrigerator right now, just for a second. Look at what is in there. Somewhere on those shelves, there are foods that have been sitting in your kitchen for days that could send you to the hospital. Not because they have gone bad. Not because they smell wrong. They look fine. They taste fine. And almost no doctor has ever told you that they are no longer safe for the body you have today. Here is the strange part. The food has not changed. Your body has. Somewhere along the way, your body started playing by different rules. The cells that fight off bacteria in your gut got fewer. The lining of your gut got thinner. A meal that you ate 100 times in your life without any issue can now put bacteria straight into your bloodstream. 1 in 6 adults your age who get a listeria infection do not survive it. Half of all listeria cases in this country happen in people in your stage of life. And the foods that carry listeria are sitting in millions of refrigerators right now. Cold deli meat, soft cheese, bagged salad. Nobody mentions this. The food labels do not. The grocery store does not. So the information just sits there. In CDC reports, almost nobody reads, while you keep doing what you have always done. I am going to walk you through every food on the list. By the end of this video, you will look at your kitchen differently, starting with one almost every adult has right now. Green potatoes. Walk to your potatoes right now. If you have any in the kitchen, look at them. Look carefully. See any green tint on the skin? Any sprouts pushing out of the eyes? Any spots where the flesh looks a little tinted, a little off? Those potatoes are no longer safe to eat. The green is a toxin called solanine. The potato makes it to defend itself from bugs and animals. A fresh potato has almost none. But the moment it sits in light or starts to sprout, the levels shoot up fast. The green skin and the sprouted spots can have 50 times more solanine than the rest of the potato. Here is the trap. You cannot cook it out. Not by boiling. Not by baking. Not by frying. The toxin stays exactly as toxic in a baked potato as it was when you cut into it raw. There is one warning your body will give you. Solanine tastes bitter, sometimes burning, almost peppery at the back of the throat. If you ever take a bite and something tastes wrong, do not finish it. That bitter taste is not picky eating. It is your body trying to save you. And this is where age matters. Solanine attacks the nervous system. Confusion, weakness, a racing heartbeat, sometimes worse. The body that bounced back from things like this when you were younger does not bounce back the same way anymore. Check your potatoes tonight. The cabinet under the sink, the basket on the counter, the bag in the pantry you forgot about. Cut off every green spot before cooking, or just throw them out. A few potatoes are not worth a hospital visit, but the next food is one almost every adult is cooking completely wrong. Undercooked red kidney beans. If you ever make chili in a slow cooker, please pay attention to this one. Because the slow cooker might be making the problem worse, not better. Raw kidney beans contain a natural toxin called PHA. It is in many beans, but kidney beans have the highest concentration. PHA makes your blood cells clump together. The result looks like a bad case of food poisoning. Sharp belly pain. Nausea that hits hard and fast. Vomiting. Diarrhea that does not stop. Here is where people get caught. The slow cooker. A slow cooker on low setting runs at around 170 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot enough to soften the bean. It is not hot enough to break down the toxin. The FDA confirmed it. Studies confirmed it. Beans cooked at slow cooker temperatures can have up to 5 times the toxicity of raw beans. The slow cooker is not making them safer. It is concentrating the danger. The fix is simple. Soak the dried beans in cold water for at least 5 hours. Throw out the soaking water. Then boil the beans in fresh water at a hard rolling boil for at least 10 minutes before reducing the heat. Real boil. Bubbles breaking the surface, not a simmer, not a slow cook, a boil. Canned beans are safe. They were already cooked at industrial temperatures, hot enough to neutralize the toxin. Open the can, rinse, use. The reason this lands harder now is that your body cannot ride out the symptoms the way it used to. Vomiting and diarrhea dehydrate you faster. Electrolytes drop quicker. A bad night you would have slept off years ago can mean an ambulance ride now. If you have been slow cooking dried beans for decades without boiling them first, your luck has held. Do not test it any longer. But the next food is one most adults have been told is good for them. Brown rice. For 30 years, the world has been telling you that brown rice is the healthy choice. More fiber, more vitamins, better for your blood sugar, better for your heart. All of that is true. There is just one thing nobody mentions. Brown rice has roughly 40% more arsenic in it than white rice. The arsenic sits in the bran layer, the same bran layer that holds all the fiber and the vitamins. So the part of the rice that makes it healthy is the same part that holds the poison. The white rice you have been avoiding for decades has less of it, because the processing strips the bran away. This is not folk wisdom. The FDA has linked long-term arsenic exposure from rice to bladder cancer, lung cancer, heart disease, diabetes, real documented risks, tracked across thousands of adults. Where the rice was grown matters. Rice grown in the southern United States on soil that used to be cotton fields sprayed heavily with arsenic pesticides for decades tends to be the worst. Rice grown in California is much lower. Basmati rice from India is one of the safest options on the shelf. Here is the part most adults do not know. You can wash a lot of it out. Rinse your rice in cold water until the water runs clear. Then cook it like pasta. 6 cups of water for every 1 cup of rice. When it is done, drain off the excess water. This one technique removes up to 60% of the arsenic. If you have been eating brown rice 3 times a week for 20 years, please hear this. The damage from arsenic is cumulative. It builds quietly. The cancer risk does not arrive in a single day. It rises slowly, year after year. The good news is that lowering your exposure starting now still matters. The body still responds. The damage stops compounding the moment you change the input. If you do not want to give up brown rice, at least learn the rinse and drain method. If you are willing to switch, white basmati from California is the safest common variety on the shelf. Now the risk changes shape entirely. The next 4 foods are not about a slow buildup over years. They are about bacteria that can put you in a hospital bed in a single weekend. And the first one is sitting in millions of refrigerators right now, in a package most adults trust completely. Cold deli meat and soft cheese. This is the one I want you to really hear, because the warning is not theoretical. It is right there on the CDC website, and almost nobody has been told. The bacteria is called listeria. Listeria does something most bacteria cannot. It grows in the cold. It multiplies inside your refrigerator. It thrives in the chilled glass case at the grocery store deli. It does not need warmth to spread. It just needs time. Listeria is the 3rd leading cause of death from foodborne illness in this country. More than half the people who get infected are in your stage of life. 1 in 6 of them do not survive. The CDC has been clear. Adults 65 and older should not eat cold deli meat or deli-sliced cheese unless it has been reheated to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Steaming hot. Not warm, not room temperature. Hot. That means the cold turkey sandwich you have eaten 1,000 times, the ham slice you keep in the refrigerator for snacks, the cheese you grab to put on crackers. None of it should be eaten cold anymore. Not without reheating. This is the part nobody expects. The contamination usually does not happen at the factory. It happens at the deli slicer itself. One contaminated product gets cut on the slicer in the morning. The slicer gets wiped down between customers, but rarely deep cleaned. Every product cut on that slicer for the rest of the day picks up a small amount of the bacteria. By closing time, Dozens of people have walked home with contaminated meat they paid for at the deli counter. And here is what makes it so hard to track. Listeria has an incubation period of up to 70 days. By the time someone gets sick, they cannot connect it to the sandwich they ate 2 months ago. Soft cheeses are even worse. Brie, camembert, queso fresco, feta. Cottage cheese left open too long. Anything soft and moist is a perfect environment for listeria to grow. Hard cheeses, like cheddar and parmesan, are much safer because they hold less moisture. Even pasteurized soft cheese has been linked to outbreaks. The contamination can happen after the pasteurization step, inside the processing plant. If you love sandwiches, do this. Take the meat out. Take the cheese out. Put them on a plate. Microwave for 30 seconds until steaming. Then build your sandwich. It is a small change. It can save your life. But the next food is hiding in places you would never think to suspect. Raw sprouts. If you have ever asked for extra sprouts on a sandwich at a restaurant, this might be the section that surprises you most. The CDC has been warning about raw sprouts since 1999. The warnings have only gotten more specific. Between 2000 and 2020, there were 53 outbreaks of foodborne illness in this country tied directly to raw sprouts. They caused almost 1,500 illnesses, 179 hospitalizations, 5 documented deaths. The reason sprouts are so risky has nothing to do with how they were washed. The problem is the way they grow. Sprouts grow in warm, humid conditions. Those are exactly the conditions bacteria love. If even one bacterium gets into the seed before sprouting, it can multiply to millions by the time the sprout reaches your plate. And washing does not solve it. The bacteria are not just on the surface. They are inside the structure of the sprout, where no rinse can reach them. The CDC has stated it plainly. People in your stage of life, along with pregnant women and small children, should not eat raw sprouts of any kind. Bean sprouts, radish, clover, mung bean. None of them are safe raw. Here is something that should land. The FDA has told hospitals and nursing homes that they should never serve raw sprouts to their residents. If a setting designed to keep older adults safe will not serve them, you should treat your own kitchen the same way. If you order a sandwich or salad and it comes with sprouts on top, ask the kitchen to leave them off. If you are making stir-fry at home with bean sprouts, cook them through. The heat of a hot pan is enough to neutralize the bacteria. The risk goes beyond a bad stomach. E. coli from sprouts has caused kidney failure. Salmonella has spread from the gut into the bloodstream. Once that happens, you are not dealing with a bad weekend. You are dealing with a hospital stay. But the next food has been sitting in your refrigerator longer than you realize. Bagged salad past its best-by date. If you buy pre-washed lettuce or bagged salad greens, this is the section to hear. Bagged salads have been tied to outbreaks of E. coli, listeria, and salmonella for 2 straight decades. The reason has to do with how they are processed. The leaves get washed in industrial water, then sealed in plastic. That plastic bag does not protect you. It is not designed to keep bacteria out. It is designed to keep the leaves looking fresh. The inside of that sealed bag is actually warmer and more humid than the rest of your refrigerator. Any bacteria that survived the washing now have a perfect place to grow. The moment you open the bag, the risk goes up further. Every time you reach in, you introduce more bacteria from your hands, the air, the refrigerator door. The leaves at the bottom of the bag sit in any liquid that drains down. That liquid is exactly where bacteria multiply fastest. Here is what nobody tells you. The label triple washed does not mean sterile. It means rinsed 3 times in industrial water. Washing reduces bacteria. It does not eliminate them. The processors themselves recommend rinsing the leaves again at home before eating. Almost no one reads that part. Almost no one rinses. If you have been pouring bagged greens straight into the bowl, you are not alone. You are also taking a risk most adults never knew existed. The rule is simple. Use bagged salad within 3 to 5 days of opening. Never eat it past the best buy date on the bag. If you see any liquid pooling at the bottom, any leaves turning slimy or brown, any sour smell when you open the bag, throw the whole thing out. The few dollars are not worth the hospital visit. A safer option is to buy whole heads of lettuce and wash them yourself just before eating. Whole heads do not get bruised the same way. They were not processed on industrial equipment, and you decide when they get washed. But the next food is the one most people are sure is completely safe. Pink or undercooked ground beef. If you like your hamburger pink in the middle, please listen carefully to this section, because the risk from undercooked ground beef changes dramatically as you get older. Ground beef is different from a steak. A steak only has bacteria on the outside, which gets seared away when you cook it. But ground beef is mixed. The outside surface of the meat gets ground up and distributed throughout the whole batch, so bacteria that were sitting on the outside are now all the way through the middle. The most dangerous one is a strain of E. coli called O157H7. It produces a toxin that damages the lining of your gut, your kidneys, and your blood vessels. In a younger body, an infection usually means a rough week and recovery. In a body your age, the same infection sends 30 to 50% of people to the hospital. Some develop kidney failure. The safe internal temperature for ground beef is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. A meat thermometer costs less than $15. If you cook ground beef and do not own one, please buy one this week. It is the cheapest insurance policy in your kitchen. Here is the trap that catches people. Color is not a reliable sign of doneness. A burger can look completely brown on the outside, while the inside is still undercooked. Studies have shown that ground beef can turn fully brown at temperatures well below the safe threshold. The opposite is also true. A burger cooked to a safe 160 degrees can still look slightly pink, especially if the meat was frozen first. The only way to know for sure is the thermometer. This applies at restaurants too. If you order a burger and it comes pink in the middle, send it back. The kitchen does not know you. They are not cooking with the level of caution they would use for a hospital meal. You are the only one who can protect you. The same rule applies anywhere ground beef hides. Meatballs in a slow cooker. Meatloaf with a pink center. Stuffed peppers. Anything where the meat is buried inside other ingredients and might not reach a safe temperature. One more thing worth knowing. This is not just about beef. The same rule applies to ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork. Each has been tied to bacterial outbreaks. 165 degrees for poultry, 160 for beef and pork. Use the thermometer every time. Now let me tell you what to do with all of this. Tonight, before you go to bed, just open your refrigerator. Walk over to your potatoes. Check for green or sprouts. Check the bagged salads for their best by dates. Look at the deli meat and ask yourself, when did I last eat this cold? Check the soft cheeses. Look at the dried beans on the shelf and remember the boiling rule. You do not need to throw everything out tonight. You just need to look at your kitchen the way you have never looked at it before, with clear eyes, knowing what you know now. The 7 foods are simple to remember. Green or sprouted potatoes, undercooked kidney beans, brown rice eaten daily, cold deli meat and soft cheese, raw sprouts, bagged salad past its date, undercooked ground beef. None of them are forbidden. All of them can be made safer with one small change. The point is not to live in fear of food. The point is to know what is actually risky and protect yourself the right way. Here are 5 things you can do this week. 1. Buy a meat thermometer. Stop trusting color. 2. Pay attention to dates. The best buy on bagged greens is not a suggestion. The use by on deli meat is not a suggestion. They mean what they say. 3. When in doubt, throw it out. The cost of a bag of salad is nothing compared to the cost of a hospital stay. 4. Reheat what you can. Deli meat, soft cheese, leftovers older than 3 days. Heat them to steaming. 165 degrees. A microwave gets there in under a minute. 5. Rinse what you can. Even produce with skins you do not eat. Bacteria transfers from skin to flesh the moment you cut in. Almost everyone your age has been quietly raising their risk on these foods for years without knowing it. The food has not changed. Your body has. What did not matter decades ago genuinely matters now. You have been told. The kitchen you walk into tomorrow morning can be a completely different kitchen from the one you have been using for 30 years. Not because the food changed, because you finally know what to look for. Take care of yourself, and be well.